every time you put that on the recording, I gotta do some shit. All right, just let me know. I'm not gonna be party to that.
Here we go. Listen. All right, here. Listen.
I don't know this dude.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alcohol and Politics. I'm Tony Stasny, and I'll be your host this evening. Tonight, we have Dan from Indianapolis, Frank from Broadview Heights, Nick from his sister's house, and me in Parma, Ohio. So before we get started, this podcast, it's going to be a podcast, it's going to be uploaded to my podcast and to YouTube.
Oh, it's going to be an event.
Side note, make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe to my channel and look me up on the podcast at the Tony Stasny Show. There's already one Alcohol and Politics. This is the second one, and I plan to continue doing these as time goes on. It's going to be part of a series. There's another one that's alcohol and marital advice. I can't wait to start that one. But moving right along, tonight's event is sponsored by yours truly, by me. Not only is Tony Stasny a business coach, but I'm also a property investor. Me and my partners, we buy properties. We look for houses, any area, any condition, and under any circumstances. So when you're thinking of selling your property, please consider me. Come to me first, and we'll see if we can do something with it. Okay, moving right along. The rules of Alcohol and Politics. We must have a drink in hand, and we're going to go around the room in a moment and talk about what we're drinking. This is my name, this is where I'm at, and this is what my drink of choice is tonight. And then we'll just dive right into, I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about, but it's going to be good. We did these, it's been almost, 8 or 9 months since we did the last one. The reason why we stopped is you people were throwing out all those certain ethnic jokes, and we just had to stop. I'm joking, by the way. Are we still allowed to joke about joking? Or is that going off, is that off the table now too?
It's important to joke.
Okay, all right.
You can joke about joking as long as you're not joking about joking about joking.
Right.
Mm.
I think that's a racist.
Yeah.
Unless you're joking.
Well said, sir.
Unless you're joking.
So the rules, there are no rules. It's like Fight Club. The only one, there's a rule. There's one rule. There's a rule. Just be respectful. That's all. And get hammered. Get hammered and be respectful. All right, let's talk. Let's go around the room first. Nick, start us off. Who are you? And what are you drinking? And then we'll go right over to Frank and then Dan.
As you said, Nick here. I'm reporting from locations unknown in Lorain County tonight. And I am drinking Jameson's and ginger.
Okay.
Well done.
Frank Doppler here in Broadview Heights. I'm drinking, actually it's a rabbit hole rye. Made a little old-fashioned out of it today. A gift from one of my best friends and strong liberal, Eric Tafel.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
All right, Dan.
I'm Dan from Indianapolis. I'm drinking oolong tea. So I'm staying dry tonight, boys. But
What's it?
otherwise, I'm right there with you.
And COVID free.
And I'm Tony. And I'm
Mostly.
Peanut butter whiskey, neat, meaning I'm not spilling it out of the side of my mouth or the side of the glass, with some banana rum. That's what I'm drinking.
Oh, nice.
All right, so let's get rolling. Let's dive into this. I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about. I just know this.
Before we start, Tony, can we call that drink the Elvis, the peanut butter and banana combo? Can that be the Elvis?
It's actually called. That's funny. It's actually called. What the hell do we call it? It's called the Jessica Brady is what it's called. I got the name.
Okay, didn't know that.
Here's why. I belong to a Facebook group called Cocktails, and I posted it, and I said, here's a drink with peanut butter whiskey, banana rum, and a little shot of Bailey's chocolate cherry. I said, somebody please name this because it's really delicious. And somebody tagged a woman named Jessica Brady, and I said, that's freaking awesome. That's its name. I'm naming it the Jessica Brady. So it's called the Jessica Brady. Okay. Moving on. What the hell's going on, guys? Holy crap. Like, I stopped paying attention. I'm hearing, I can't begin to tell you the most wild messages, videos, emails, texts that I'm receiving. By the way, they're from my conservative friends, but I'm getting off the wall shit to me. And my liberal friends will say things like, you know, it's all conspiracy theory bullshit. But you know what? Go back a year and a half ago, I would think believing that we're going to shut our freaking country down for a pandemic would be conspiracy theory. That's what I would have thought a year and a half ago. So what I've witnessed over the last year and a half, or the last year, I should say, I'll raise my eyebrow to everything. I mean, I've heard Texas might be seceding from the Union. I've heard China is building a military base in Jamaica. They're buying property in Oklahoma and spending triple the amount. And I'm not even looking in. I did Google search the China buying property in Jamaica, and it looks like they've got some $300 million project going on in Jamaica. It's scary times, guys. The fact that they shut Parler down, and some people are like, oh, it should be shut down. It shouldn't be. I mean, censorship is not good at all. And Parler gets shut down. OAN, which is, I just discovered it's a seems to be more of a conservative news channel. I just started watching it. I couldn't get it on my app for almost a week. It just things are scary right now, guys. Things are scary. All right, somebody lead in.
What do you think? What do you think? Yeah. What do you think of the most recent declassification of everything? I mean, it's going to bring this stuff to light. You know, the latest I've heard that matches up with that are the troops, right? The Chinese troops, 75,000 posted up in Canada, another 150,000 down in Mexico, which would also explain the push on the wall, and not your ordinary garden variety wall that we had before, but something that's 4 foot of rebar, concrete, and metal. Which kind of, I don't know, kind of makes sense. Now, I don't know if I believe that, but I will say this. I have some very good friends still connected with the military, as I'm sure we all do. You know, one in particular is a now retired colonel with the Marines, and he's sending some information. Now, he's not saying this is what's going on, but he's like, this is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm getting. So, I mean, I respect the fact that he's not. So I don't know that. That's what we got going on. Are we going into, is this much deeper? Are we going into an actual war?
Like a nation versus nation war, like a classical war? Is that what you're wondering?
Yeah. I mean, the original plan was, take out the economy, take out satellites, go ahead, maybe the power grid, get inside, the internet and screw the banks. But if that doesn't work, and what was that one quote? Then missiles will fly and tanks will roll. If those things is the latest, and we could be there, and we're not seeing it. But I think we're going to see a lot Sunday and Monday as they talk about, them taking over the emergency broadcasting system and saying, okay, this is what's going on, which I think is going to happen. And again, a year ago, none of this stuff. I would be like, please, they're not going to shut the schools. They'll never shut the businesses. They won't make people wear masks for some. That's not going to happen. But right now, anything's a possibility.
Well, they're not going to shut everything down because now Governor Cuomo and Mayor Lightfoot saying we can't survive unless we open up our economy again. So that's just this week for them. So that's the fun part. I haven't heard anybody talk about China except for just before New Year's or maybe Christmas. They're saying that there was a military activity off the west coast of North America, and they're saying in the far western parts of Canada, there was troops staged, and then some crackpot put up a video. One of my friends shared a video. Some guy was bunkered down in his basement doing his regular video talks and the news info stuff, and he said that there was an F-16 that was down somewhere over in the New England states, and it said it was shot down by Chinese troops, not before it dropped a bunker buster on an underground complex and killed 50,000 Chinese troops that were underneath there. But that was like 3 weeks ago. I think that might make the news that somebody dropped a freaking large-ass bomb somewhere in the continental United States. So, yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, I have some friends that are out there now. They're basically calling themselves patriots, and some friends were in D.C. the other day marching and protesting, and they never made it to the Capitol building. But yeah, the amount of stuff I've been getting since November 7th through some friends, it's almost like gaslighting. It's like, okay, this court case is going to solve everything, or they're going to release the Kraken, and then something doesn't happen. Like, oh, don't you wait, they got something else planned. Like every time it's like, okay, it's like listen to the Democrats pushing a bill for the last 10 years. They already have the excuses lined up, just in case it fails. And of course it fails, and before even the news can tell you that it was defeated, they already got an excuse for it. Or it's like, oh, just wait till next time. And it's like, I was like, the only thing I haven't had anybody do is ask me money to donate to a cause on that end. And it's been a role reversal since the election, because it's like anything Trump did, everyone on the other side of the aisle was freaking out, like the sky is falling, and the U.S. is going to suffer some major earthquake and split in two, and going to be a cataclysm everywhere. And after the elections, everyone else is freaking out, trying to see what's going on, and the Insurrection Act pops up in somebody's conversation at least once every couple hours. Like they think it's going to lower the hammer. We don't know why there's thousands of guardsmen in D.C. who are now going to be stationed everywhere for the inauguration, when they're not going to have people there, and it's going to be completely virtual, and they won't even allow the media to be anywhere near the stands when they do the inauguration. And they say, don't know what's going on, and other people say, just wait, these troops are going to collapse in and catch everybody and haul them off to jail. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll wait till the 20th and see what happens.
So if I may jump in, yes, in Washington with the National Guard, but that's not just Washington. They're posting them right now in every major city in the U.S., especially the ones that tend to be Democratic, which is most of them, right? Because you have a lot of inner city and dense population. I just got my daughter's at Ohio State right now, and so I get the things, the emails, and it says right in there from the president their little points, and it talks about stay away from the downtown area and the Capitol, and DeWine's shutting this, and they're going to have like 10,000 troops down there. And this is from the president of Ohio State in an email to the parents. So it's not just there. So you have to wonder, okay, it's any major city that they think there's going to be problems. So if you're putting them in major cities that are primarily, that tend to lean to the left, well, what that tells me is there's some bad news coming to people that tend to associate their views with the left. Unless there's enough that they can publicly put out there that shows, hey, Obama was involved in this and the Clintons were involved in this, and we can put to rest this whole Republican Democrat thing. Because if anything, we should have our eyes open to, we have the rhinos, Republican in name only.
Gonzalez.
No, they're politicians. Yeah, Gonzalez can fuck himself. Ooh, okay, so, yeah, I can say it's a podcast. But these are they're not. They might be turncoats. They might be traitors to their party, but they're traitors to the people. Anybody that's involved in that stuff are traitors to people. This has nothing to do with Democrat, Republican anymore.
Amen.
One more thing to
stop there for a second. Let me welcome my buddy Mike from North Carolina.
Hello, gentlemen.
This is becoming a national call. Welcome, Mike. What are you doing?
I made it. I had to get my drink. It's on Zoom all day.
What are you drinking?
Crown. Crown on the rocks.
Okay, cool.
There's no banana in that.
Nah, Roman drink. So you guys, I kind of got here late. So about 2 days before the DT protests, I heard, and the reason I remember it, I thought how stupid for the crowd, but maybe not now. Hindsight's 2020. But she said she was going to have the National Guard come in for the Trump rally. And I thought to myself, here's over 600 rallies. The people don't even leave garbage behind, let alone get violent. And then there's 30 cops trying to protect the Capitol building. There's reports of cops letting people in, and I even saw a video of one today, a newscast on One America News, where the guy says, well, what else are we going to do? All these people, there's 30 of us. Of course we let them in. There's the problem with what's going on today. I think 90% of our problem is the media. You know, you talk about dividing the country. Everything they do, at least while Trump was, before Biden was inaugurated, 95% of their reports were all anti-Trump.
Yeah.
You know, now you have news organizations that are censoring Americans. They don't report the news anymore. They give their opinions. Don Lemon saying everybody who is a Trump supporter is a KKK. Now, how can this happen? How can big universities try to take away diplomas from people because they're conservative? That's what's going on today.
Mm-hmm. Saw that.
You know, how can you take funding away from everybody?
What are we talking about there?
Political views.
What university tried to take away somebody's diploma?
It was one of the big ones, one of the big law schools.
Harvard.
Harvard, yes, Harvard.
Yep.
Harvard, yeah.
Harvard, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, when it came,
their students are calling, their alumni are calling for that.
When it came to
okay. So the institution isn't doing anything. Graduates of Harvard, the students at Harvard, are saying that they would like some
anybody who
diplomas
supported
revoked.
Trump. Anybody who supported Trump, take away their diplomas that they earned in the past.
Okay, all right. Do you at all think that would happen?
Huh. Who the hell knows what's going to happen with the way things are going now? Who would have ever thought 6 months ago that the president would be shut off of social media, or that, you know, all the Republican posts, all the right-leaning posts are all fact-checked? Please show me one liberal comment that was ever fact-checked. Just show me one, please. I would love to see it.
Like 10 minutes into Trump's term in office, liberal media across the board said that he removed the bust of Martin Luther King Jr. They were fact-checked on it. They had to submit whatever the term is for when they have to, like, say, hey, we were wrong about this.
All right, they had to retract their story.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I mean, I could keep going, but that one happened, you know, same day of day one.
Yeah. Before he even got elected in there, there were, you know, false accusations, and that's all. It's just.
It has. I never followed politics. I never followed politics until Kavanaugh. When I watched and I remember asking a friend of mine, what's the difference between a conservative and a liberal? And that wasn't long ago. That was just a few years ago. I didn't know the difference. And I watched what happened to Kavanaugh, and it was gross what they did to him. I mean, there was absolutely no proof, but yet all those Democrats were claiming he was guilty. I got into a lifelong friend of mine told me to go fuck myself. We haven't talked since. Because I said something like, well, I'd hate to be on a frickin', I'd hate to be in front of you in a jury or something like that. Like, there's no evidence I got about this guy. And her response was, what evidence do you need? The woman said he did it, so he did it.
How did she feel about the claims against Biden?
Right. Good point.
It never came up. I mean, she told me.
I mean, that's kind of why that due process is so important. I got people I don't like, but I want them to have access to the same things I selfishly would like access to. Because if they don't get access to it, then somewhere down the line, people who are in power who don't agree with me could stop my access to it. That's why these things are really important. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you guys something, because you're all pretty conservative. Do you feel that it's highly likely that there were insurgent plants that were not conservative, were not Trump supporters?
Well, they arrested one today.
At the DC riots.
They arrested one today, John Sullivan.
I'm glad.
No, they didn't arrest him. They brought him for questioning. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I heard he was arrested.
He was brought in and released for questioning. But anyway, so you guys think that that's likely?
Yes. Yeah. I'll tell you why in a moment.
Well, no, but this is a two-part question. So then, in the same way, have you thought that it's likely that there are plants inside of, say, the BLM protests that discredit and discount those protests and make them completely not what. See, here's my thing is, I feel like we, the citizenry, are being incredibly stupid. So initially,
or a bunch of sheep.
Well, no, I don't think that. I think we've been lazy. So here's what I'm observing. The BLM movement gets just a little bit of momentum over this one idea of, we're going to keep saying Black Lives Matter because we think it's important that communities know that we think that there's a larger portion of the communities that don't think Black Lives Matter. That was the initial point of the whole thing. And then a few months later, the manifesto comes out. And the manifesto is all about, we are going to disrupt the concept of the nuclear family, and we are a Marxist revolution, and we are all the things that are like, oh, okay, well, there you go. Way to just totally take the rug out of any support for a very simple and very small claim, which is there appears to be a higher incident of police brutality against minority communities. That was the initial approach. And then all of a sudden, you've got all the revolutionaries that make it out to be this, hey, we are going to radically redefine America. And all of a sudden the support's like, no, we're not interested in all that.
Yeah, and Dan, if you noticed, that came out, it was like orchestrated. That Black Lives Matter movement after George Floyd, they were planted all over the country instantly. There were murals painted. I mean, it was almost like as if though it was planned. And I'll take you back to the day of the shutdown. My friend called me, who's in security, and he said to me, we're under attack. Our country's under attack right now. And I go, please don't tell me you believe all this crap, dude. And he goes, you know what? And he's a strong conservative. He goes, you know what? In 6 months from now, if everything's fine and, you know, make fun of me all you want. He goes, but I'm just telling you, I've got sources in the military that are telling me that this pandemic was planned. We are under attack, and there's more yet to come. He said that, more yet to come. Right
now, I believe it.
Floyd, as soon as that happened and the Black Lives Matter movement was all over the country and they're burning cities down, I called him up. Right. I go, dude, you damn near called this. You saw all this happening. Yeah. So yeah, I believe that. And I said to somebody, like, the Black Lives Matter peaceful protests, I do believe a lot of those protesters, because if you looked at, most of those protests weren't black people. They were young white women. That's who they were.
You're right.
It's the Black Lives Matter are young white women. And I believe they're out to peacefully protest. And yes, I think a lot of people, were planted in there. Well, I know they were, because our local news channel here were investigated, like all the people, there was like 100 people arrested in Cleveland. And they found that all those people that were arrested, they didn't line up with their addresses here. They weren't from here.
Right. Yeah, they come in from other areas. Yeah. Well, they are literally professional
hang on. Let me finish.
writers.
After the riots on last week, after all that shit occurred, I wasn't paying attention to a lot of it. I joke a lot of shit on Facebook, but I really wasn't paying any attention. I'm busy. I got work going on.
Yeah.
I was disappointed in Trump, and I am a Trump supporter. And I'm like, why would you bring all these freaking people? You know, if you get a group of people together, any group of people that feel strongly about a cause, shit's going to go down. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, if you feel passionate about something and you're going to get a movement like that, yeah, things are going to happen. So when people started saying, like, Antifa was there and all this crap, those people were playing, I honestly was like, I don't believe it. I mean, just what Republicans are people too. People are people. It's not the Democrats that are all mean and nasty and freaking, they say Democrats are loud.
No, we're pretty mean. We are.
You especially, sure. No, but I mean, people are people. I see it on both sides. Yeah. And so for a moment there, I was just like, just own it. Republicans that are there at the rally, just own it. You guys fucked up. Own it. There were some people. And then my cousin sends me a video. And it was the video clip was taken from inside the Capitol looking down. So somebody was upstairs in one of the rooms taking the video of down below. And so there's a crowd of a couple hundred people. And there's guys that are slamming a American flag, busting in the door. And I'm watching it. It's like a 3-minute video. And the last, say, 30 seconds, all of them were chanting Antifa. Antifa, Antifa, and that's all I needed to see. I saw it right there. I physically witnessed it with my own eyes. They were there. Was people?
Tony, Tony, that
bullshit.
Directly after the protest, Trump put out a tweet and condemned it. And at 4:03, he put out a video. Twitter wouldn't let him show the tweet, and the video was shut down off of just about everywhere. You had to really search it. Now go back to when George Floyd, when it was reported. You saw a very short video instead of showing the whole thing. But the timing of everything is so suspicious. At the time, every Democrat out there was saying the only way you can beat Trump is to crash the economy. You had, as soon as I saw that reported on the news, I told my wife, here comes the riots. It's all political, but it's going to happen. And it just. Did you see what they're saying about Corona today? Now,
Mike, keep that thought. Pause for one moment. We're going to finish with you, and then I want to welcome Eric because he's in DC right now working security, so I want to hear from him too. But so finish what you were saying. Right. You're done. We'll move over to Eric.
So today they reported that there's been a national or a worldwide study, and they're saying that the lockdowns are no more effective than if people self-isolate. Well, geez, isn't that convenient right after the election?
Yeah.
It's just
now that they got their way, what they wanted, everybody can get back to having their life. It was a big fucking hostage situation. Oh yeah.
Who's speaking?
Eric speaking.
Well, he knows how to jump right in, doesn't he?
So, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen, this is my buddy Eric. He's actually in DC working security. And dude,
stay safe, buddy.
How are you guys?
Dude, the floor is yours.
Good to meet you, Eric.
Take it over.
Shit. We just got in. It's fucking raining out there right now. It's miserable as shit. My buddy JJ will probably be jumping in the car here in a second. Oh, so what do you guys have been talking? I'm sorry, I don't have any booze. This is bullshit.
Mute him. Mute him.
Right. Feel like I'm counterproductive to what's going on.
So you've been there for how many days?
Got here on the 11th.
Today's the
15th.
So what have you seen, man? How many national?
Dude, they have got so many layers of security and that, like, they got a fence going around the Capitol, like a huge one. Most of here, I'm going to bring my boy JJ in on this. Hey JJ, we're gonna jump in. We're on a Venmo. This is Alcohol and Politics. This is my buddy Tony. Everybody say hi. This is JJ.
Hey man.
What's up, man?
Brother.
So they're talking about like what's going on and like what's so loud. Do not forget we're in the belly of the beast. Oh yeah, you're right. So anyways, they've got like just layers upon layers of security. Like today going in, we were back. They have the road blocked off an extra 5 blocks from where they were yesterday.
So Eric, hang on one second, dude. So I got to tell you. So I'm
dude. Cops are saying they recognize me from Instagram and they want to come talk to me down by 3rd and like where we're working with these people.
All right. So listen. So I'm recording this right now, but I'm only uploading the audio, not the video. It's going to go to my podcast, so only audio is going to be collected here.
Oh, okay, that's cool. But honestly, dude, we haven't seen, as far as like protesters or anything like that, we haven't seen shit. Streets are empty.
But what about as far as National Guard goes?
They're all over the fucking place.
I heard they're bivouacked everywhere.
It is. You can't go down. I mean, most of the roads downtown around the Capitol and that you can't even access now. They've got them
With
barricaded, blocked off with the concrete barriers and the big ass heavy trucks. All the hotels here are basically is where the National Guard are staying. It's it's cherries and berries everywhere as far as the emergency vehicles and shit. But as far as people, There's nothing. It's quiet.
My buddy sent me a map of the barricades for everything, all the roads. It looks like the whole district is going to be shut down.
The whole grid.
They're not missing. What's that?
The whole grid. Yeah. It's
not even just like around the Capitol building, whatever, the Smithsonian and Lincoln Memorial, every road around there and within like 5, 6, 7 blocks radius of the White House. It's all, every like 100 feet, the way the map's marked, it's another barricade checkpoint. I'm like, it's overkill. You can't.
We got back in after doing a shoot, and we're like, oh, we got a few hours. Let's try to go get something to eat. We pulled out of here, and just to get back in, it took us an hour. And we literally pulled out, got on one road, said, fuck it, tried turning around, and it took us an hour to get back. Like, it's crazy.
Well, so
yeah,
Frank, something earlier. Frank, you said that the college said, did you say 10,000 National Guard? 10,000?
Yeah,
25.
I can try
I
to
heard
find
25.
25,000.
They just upped it again.
State of Ohio?
Ohio in Columbus.
Oh, in Columbus, they got 10,000.
Well, let me find the email again. My daughter's goes to Ohio State, so you get the emails from the president every once in a while updating on what they're doing there.
This is Twitter post.
Yes, I'll find it. Go ahead.
No, but as far as like any kind of conflict stuff, bed and breakfast, what did they close down the bed and breakfast? They're not taking any.
No more hotel people. Dude, they're not letting anybody out of state book any more hotels. They're not letting anybody do Airbnbs, and you have to have like paperwork when you get off the airplanes. From what I understand, we drove.
Yeah, we drove in and that. So hell, and we didn't get the hotel room till we got here. But like I went on one today, and one of the hotel things like .coms or whatever, and they said that there are no hotels of no listings at this time, so they're even cutting back on that.
Now, neither one of you have pinched a loaf on Nancy Pelosi's desk, have you? Because that would be wrong.
Do what?
You're too far away from the mic, Tony. He asked if either one of you guys in D.C. pinched a loaf on Nancy Pelosi's desk yet.
No, we haven't got that close to it yet. No, now you can't. Shit, they got too many fences up.
Fences everywhere.
Yeah.
So for those of you guys that know and have more experience in this, or see, my understanding is to call in anybody, National Guard, Army at this level, is the president. Like, is there anybody else in our government that has the power to go ahead and just snap their fingers and make this shit happen?
Governors.
The Defense Department.
Right.
Governor.
But governors from state to state, but not on national level. So we know, but not in DC though, right?
They could they've been asking for statehood for a while, so I guess it would be the mayor could ask them to help.
Okay.
But I mean, DeWine, when he activated the National Guard here in Ohio, he sent like 500 troops to D.C. Whatever he activated, he sent a portion to D.C. They're there on behalf of the state of Ohio. So, that's part of how these numbers are jumping up. He activated some for Columbus, and then he sent a contingent to D.C. So then the mayor just has to accept them. But D.C. is crazy enough as it is. There are 73 different law enforcement agencies between local, regional, state, and federal that operate in and around the White House and in the district. And they're still going to have 25,000 National Guardsmen come in and then spend a week there because they're afraid that something's going to happen during the inauguration.
What's the consensus in this room? Do we think the National Guard should be there, shouldn't be there? What's everybody thinking?
I don't think they're there for that.
It looks like we're prepping for an invasion or fucking T-Rex.
Yes.
Or for what?
Exactly. I agree with JJ minus the T-Rex part.
Well, I was saying it's one of the Or
I would wish it'd be a freaking dime.
Here's how out of the loop I was. I heard T-Rex and I was like, oh, that's a military term. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. T-Rexing. Got it.
Dude, I think this is military.
All right.
I think they were brought in by Trump. I believe all that stuff they have about them with the declassification.
But the producer and I were talking about, not only are we locked out, but they're locked in.
Okay. So there's got to be something more to this.
Your thoughts on the National Guard being there?
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my thoughts on it. What the fuck were you thinking? I mean, they're gonna, the first inauguration, they let I was out there while they were, if you've seen any of that video and that where the limo's on fire and they're busting out all that shit and fucking up all the local businesses and protesting it, and that was all fine and dandy because that was the plan. For this, they don't want like that. They wanted to go nice and smooth, and then like you said, COVID's going to go away. Everybody gets to go back to work. We finally got our way. The temper tantrum's over.
Dude, I'll tell you what, and since this is on, we're taping this, and I know it's a little bit out there, Biden will be inaugurated.
Huh?
I'm telling you, Biden is not going to be inaugurated as president. Not with the crap going on this week. And I think that's why Trump's got that down there. We've already showed that the right typically doesn't.
I said my SWAT chief, because I'm on a SWAT team, I said it does not look like they're here for hillbillies and homies, man. They're here for
So has everybody here seen the videos? I've seen about 7 of them of Trump.
Wait a minute. We can't just glide over hillbillies and homies. That's awesome. That needs to be given a little bit of space.
Oh, you said
needs to be given a little bit of space.
Oh, wait a minute. I grew up in Lake Milton. I take offense to that comment.
He said hillbillies and homies. That's really,
I swear I thought you said hillbillies and homos, and I was going to say the exact same thing. Like, did he just say that?
You're always thinking about the cock, so we get
it. I got one question for you guys. On my ride home from work, I had they did a news update like they do, and they said that Trump is planning a farewell party or a farewell announcement before he leaves office, just to thank people and everything. But he's doing it. I don't know. Is Edwards nearby? Or what's with a nearby airbase? And he wants to do it with the military in the background. But no one else I know has heard that. I just heard a random spot on the news.
I heard it today.
What's that?
I heard it a little bit ago. I saw it on my phone.
Mm-hmm. But I have, and all my friends are so-called, really enthusiasts and Trump supporters and patriots. I was the only one who was able to report that to them. And they're like, he's not going to be in D.C. I'm like, he said he wasn't going to attend the inauguration, even though they're not going to have anybody there anyway. But now he's supposedly going to be at a military base just outside D.C. when all this is going down. So they're all like, oh my God.
He's not attending Biden's inauguration.
Yeah.
But Pence is.
I want to believe that, you know what I mean, at the last second we're all going to get that. It's like we're watching like The Walking Dead fucking, season ender, like everything's.
If they killed Rick, I would have been happy.
Yeah. But right now I don't know what that's what we were talking about, because like, we find stuff like, kind of like in the darker web as far as, Insurrection Act and all this other shit, and how great would it if, like, right in the middle they just kind of, the military just kind of turns around and points their gun at Congress and they're like, okay, everybody here's under arrest. But
people are being arrested right now, aren't they? I mean, I recently heard of both Rice and Comey were taken into custody. Is there any truth to that?
I haven't gotten any updates.
I heard Brennan, Rice, Comey have already been taken into custody. And you saw the stuff with the president of Italy. I think they just had something going on in the Netherlands or something like that.
Do you see Afghanistan black? Was it Afghanistan? What's the other one over there? They had the blackout. There's supposed to be one of them that changed votes.
Pakistan, Iran, and Italy, and parts of Italy.
Wait, say that again. What do you mean they had a blackout?
They had a blackout last week. And they're supposed to be, Italy and Pakistan supposed to be two of the countries that change votes in the Dominion system with their satellites.
Yeah, that was supposedly done by our Space Force. Supposedly. Again, everything I say here, you know, I have as much proof on it as anybody.
I was told it wasn't Italy. It was the Vatican has its own satellites, and they had like a
Heard it was the
shut
Vatican.
down the Vatican last week and arrested the Pope. But
I heard they
you
arrested.
think that would make the news? It was true.
Guys, did the Pope get arrested?
I don't know how.
I've heard that multiple times.
But there's some crazy stuff going on.
Arrest Pope.
Dan,
I feel like there needs to be a rule where unless your source is like an actual person that's part of the government or a law enforcement source or a judge or something like that, you should probably name your source. So that if your source is bullshit, then we can all say, oh, that sounds like a BS source. But if your source is, you know, hey, I actually know somebody, I can't actually say where I got this information because I shouldn't have access to this information, I can respect not sharing that.
Yeah, but what if you have a guy who just has his camera and takes a picture of something that's very obvious or blatant? I mean,
if you know the guy, that's legitimate because then you're vouching for that person's character. If you don't know the guy, then what is this? Where was it? Where was it shared? Is your source Twitter?
Here's what happens then. And I agree with you. And just to play devil's advocate. So if we all had to have these types of sources on it, we'd all be staring at each other on Zoom drinking and talking about the T-Rex. I mean, we wouldn't have any discussion points, and without discussion points, how do we get anywhere? You know, I think
all right. Seriously, do we have access to dinosaur DNA?
hang on, one at a time, guys. One at a time.
Those movies. Yeah.
Tony, look at your phone. I sent you something. Sorry, it's all. Go ahead.
So I started hearing these rumors last Friday, and it was pretty ironic because I went to two separate businesses that didn't know each other. And they started talking about all this stuff that's going to happen, that, you know, martial law, and everybody's heard the story. Then Saturday, I got 3 videos from 3 different people, all different sources, and they all claim to have a military source, somebody within the government that they cannot disclose. And then Sunday, I see 2 videos of preachers telling the same story. And I got another one today. Actually, I got one yesterday and another one today. And the one today says, be patient. It's all coming. It's going to happen Sunday and Monday. I guess we all got to just kind of hold our pants up and wait until the 20th to see what happens in between now and then.
You know what? And I know this is politics and alcohol, and it's good to get some spirited without alcohol there, but some spirited conversation and discussion. But yeah, not you guys, but the rest of us have a drink. So, but I think at the end of this, no matter where this goes, man, I think we have to abandon the Democrat-Republican mindset. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely.
We're being played by doing it. Yep.
We are. Listen, everybody has different views, right? Everybody has different views on stuff, and some cross over. And that's what we have to keep in mind, that the powers that be, whatever that turns out, I do think the fucking cabal and this new world order is coming. I do think there's something behind it with Rothschilds and the royal family. I absolutely do. But there's, oh, hello. With that, it's one more way to divide the country. Yeah. That masks race, whatever. I was listening to this thing from 1960. It was actually on Facebook, but it's a real thing. It was black and white, and they were talking about communism, and they were basing this back to as early as 1928 and how the communists started to integrate into the black communities. And what their philosophy is that if you go ahead and start the thing that made us strong was also our Achilles heel, is that we have all these different races and cultures that come together. Well, all you got to do is get in there and poke it a little bit. Hey, did you see what they said over here? Hey, Black Lives Matter is a great name, because some black people can jump behind it, and it can piss off just enough white people that want to say, well, all lives matter, which pisses off just enough black people to say, bullshit, that's not what we're saying. And it just goes on and on and on.
Marines, and I tell you, no lives matter. I'll kill you all.
Actually, I respect the fatalism. Actually, yeah, the nihilism I totally respect.
So when this is all said and done, man, we've got to, in our respective communities, if you will, and our connections, pull this shit back together. Otherwise, it's going to be Democrats versus Republicans versus this group, while China and Russia walk right freaking in and annihilate us. And that will happen.
Like, ready for.
So Eric and T-Rex, are you guys law enforcement or military, or what are you guys?
I'm gun for hire. He's military law enforcement.
Okay.
That I do.
All
I
right.
do.
And a gun for hire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Cool. So here's my question. Do you feel like the U.S. is in any threat of an outside aggressor?
Fuck yeah.
Oh, we are. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
We're the last ones defending, like that are holding up the plan for the rest of the world. If Trump wins, like, you know what I mean? Like, if Biden wins, then guess what? We're going to fall right in place with everybody else.
I don't even vote, but I know who's
everybody world on the same page.
Okay, so here's where my curiosity is coming from. So, like, Obama was not supportive of the military. The military didn't like him. He often complained about the military, but also during those 8 years,
police, all that shit.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all that. But also during those 8 years, the drone program totally got off the ground. And now that is, 75% of the drone action globally. So I guess I kind of feel like at a federal level, the advancement, the technology, the power of the military has just steadily grown through, regardless of administration.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's always
Now, when Obama was in there, we were very low on ammunition and such, right? Wasn't our military very depleted?
You can't get anything anywhere right now. I bought 4. I bought 4 10 round AR mags, and I had to look for a half hour to get 10 round mags. Nobody wants 10 round mags. I wanted 10 round mags to sight in my AR. I couldn't find them anywhere. I finally found them.
I'm talking about military, though. I'm talking about shortage of bombs, because of all the conflict that we were in. Our military was very depleted. They say if we had a big attack, we wouldn't have been able to defend ourselves because it was so short.
Well, the same thing with Clinton.
I think that Obama was fucking burning that shit off. I don't think we were actually, I think it was, let's actually deplete it. Let's weaken the fucking military. Let's burn through all this ammunition. Let's burn through all this shit. And then let's just let it sit, because later on, not going to need
A Pop-Tart?
comrade.
right.
Rick, are you eating a Pop-Tart?
Huh?
Are you eating a Pop-Tart?
Protein bars.
Ah, okay. All right. Okay.
We're in the
Well,
field.
it was the same tactic with Clinton. Like, he didn't, Democrats have their own strategy of how they deal with things. Republicans do the same thing. They all fall back to some basic traits. Clinton was using cruise missiles because he didn't want to put boots on the ground in certain places. He chewed through the cruise missile supplies, or inventory during his 8 years in office. And then we got drones, and then same thing. Obama's like, well, we're not going to get engaged in stuff. We're not going to have our sons and daughters killed. And he's got drone strikes that are going left and right during his 8 years in office. So, they're just upgrading technology, and they were just pushing other stuff back, or not spending money here and there to replace or replenish or upgrade, the whole time, and then, 8 years of Obama, the Trump's like, he just poured money back into the military. But they said that the military budget, 90% of it goes to payroll and benefits to support all the people and troops that are in the military operations, whereas the rest, the other 10%, goes to field operations and research and procurement of equipment. So, it's hard to believe. And then people talk about trying to cut the budget. How do you cut the budget when you got so many people that are in the military, whether as admin, officers, or actual troops in all the different divisions of the armed forces? And you got payroll, you got the benefits, you got everything else to support them while they're actively working in the military. So, but they want to cut everything and not give it to somebody, or say that we got so much we can give it to somebody else and take care of them. So
I like COVID relief bill.
yeah.
All right, listen.
Gender studies in Pakistan.
We're gonna
Yeah,
pause.
gender studies, what, 400 billion, and they couldn't come up with 5 billion for a damn wall?
Listen, we're gonna pause.
Well,
We gotta pause.
We just
You guys
watched
stop
build a-
talking. You guys all stop talking for 1 second. Listen, we're at 1 hour.
no.
We're gonna keep stop. Listen, we're at 1 hour. We're gonna keep talking, but I'm gonna stop the recording. So let me end it. Can I end it? Here we go. Ready? So thanks everybody. This has been Alcohol and Politics. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and subscribe to the podcast. I think I have like 3 followers right now. There'll be more to come, but I just started the damn thing. So this has been Alcohol and Politics. I want to say, take care. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hi, everybody.
Take care.
All right, don't hang up. We'll keep talking. Now we can bring out the jokes.